Hey everyone, today I am in Tulsa, Oklahoma at Earl's Party Supply. And prior to this, about 40 years ago, it used to be a record store. It was called Peaches Records and Tapes. They have a few artifacts here that's pretty interesting that still remain even though the record store is long gone. Many years ago, the owner of the record store had artists that would come by in the area and put their handprints and their signature here. So you can see here that this is Mickey Gilley. It says Room Full of Roses, and his handprints are right there. Now you guys are going to have to help me with some of these names. Some of them I recognize. This one right here, it's very hard to read the signature there. So if you can read these and you know who the artist is, or if you want to Google some of these, if you think you know what it says, and just let me know what the songs were that they were famous for, that would be great. It just says To Peaches at the top, and like I said, Peaches was the record store that was here. Right beside that, this says I Love Your Peaches, 1978, Taj Mahal. So I guess the group was Taj Mahal. Currently, as you walk around, you'll notice some spots where they've been taken up. That is temporary. They're going to place them back in the ground when they're done with the renovations of this building. This is one of the ones that's been taken up, and of course, I know who these guys are. It's the Oak Ridge Boys. They're a country music group. The writing is kind of deteriorated because of the weather and the rain and stuff like that hitting it, but it's one of the ones that's been pulled from the ground and placed to the side. This one says the Pat Metheny Group, if I'm saying that right. Good luck to Peaches. And this one says Rock On Ya Mothers. Looks like it says Brian Parton, David White, Bill Paget. And then it says, I guess it says Bill Parton and the Nashville Rebels. And just one set of handprints there. Tex Montana's Fireball. Tex Jeff for Billy Dennis. This one right here is not readable at all. It's got too much weather worn on it. But you can see a handprint there. Just try to get at some different angles there. I'm just not able to pick anything up on that one. So sadly, looks like that one's been lost in time. This says To Peaches, Love, Wishbone, Ash. You can see two different sets of handprints there. Right beside there, To Peaches with Vitamin L. It's like Mary Ray Place. That has two small handprints, and then maybe what looks like a toe print right there. These are very small hands. You can see there, really small. And there's a spot where one has been taken up, and there are many of those right in through here. Several sets of handprints on this one, and it looks like it says Star Assel. Not sure. If that rings a bell with anyone, leave a comment below. Is kind of, I think he's from the local area up here, Dwight Twilley. He remade his in 2011. He's got several things written on there. The rest of these are all much older than that one. This is Lance and Angela. Some of that other writing is hard to read. See handprints, and it says Poop. This staff kills fascists. It's a whole bunch of other little names and initials and stuff like that. This one right here is severely worn. You can see handprints there, and then the blue, but I have no idea who that is. This one I do know. This is Ray Price for the Good Times. So that's an interesting one that you'll recognize. This one I think has been worn down and maybe covered up with some cement. I'm not sure. But there's nothing readable in that at all. Then down here we have some more. This is Jerry Clower. It says 3/7. Doesn't have a year here. It says God bless you, I love you peaches, and then his handprints. Jerry Clower was a stand-up comedian. I'm not sure if he did any music. I almost want to say he did, but I don't know. I know he did a lot of stand-up. He was just kind of a Southern comedian that talked about coon hunting and all kinds of things like that in the South. This is one here. We couldn't make out what it says. It looks like it has the name Houston and Roger and Dan, and then it just has the date 2/24. We can't tell if that says HE and then something and then East. Have no idea who that is right there. But right beside that, it says, I love pina coladas and peaches. And then it just says Rupert. That one's kind of cracking there as well. Right to the other side here is this one. You can't read any of the writing on that one as well. Just handprints, basically. This is the Dixie Dregs, and we don't know who those are either. Someone back in the 70s, though, is another one that's just worn down so much it's no longer legible. Right behind it, though, is 38 Special, and they did their little piece in 1978. You can see a footprint there and a guitar. This one right here is Michael Murphy. You might know him as Michael Martin Murphy. And it says, Great Spirit bless you. He's got his handprints there and then just kind of that emoji there that looks like it's in the middle of a New Mexico symbol, like what you see on their flag. But he's kind of a maybe an American folk artist or country music artist. And then right beside him, I'm not familiar with this one. I don't know what that KMA is, something bad. I'm taking it as something bad, but it says, I love you peaches, Barbara Fairchild. November 4th maybe, or it could say November 11th, 1978. That could be 1979. There's a little bit of a curl on the end of that, so I think it's an 8. Kind of hard to do writing in cement sometimes. This one right here, you'll definitely recognize. It's Lynyrd Skynyrd. And if you lift this up right here, it says Freebird. You can even see a bird right there. That's a big one right there that they were able to get. There's a few more over this way. First anniversary. You can see 3 sets of handprints here. Now, only one of these I recognize. This first one, Candy No, I don't recognize. And then you have Billy Parker, I don't recognize. But this Johnny Lee Wills, his name rang a bell, and we looked him up. And he's actually a country music artist. So I don't know, maybe you guys can look these two up and see what you can find out. But they did that, I guess, on the first anniversary. Right in front of that one is Hank Williams Jr. So that's a big one right there. This one is unreadable right there. I have no idea who that is. I'm not exactly sure how this guy did this. This is Ronnie Milsap. He's a blind country and western artist, so I have no idea how he did his signature like that, but pretty interesting. It's like he started going and then maybe someone told him that he was running out of room, so he had to just kind of curve it down. 1978. And I don't know, maybe that's one that they never finished, along with that one right there. This one right here is an artist that by the name of Jackson Brown, and it's kind of damaged right here, but you can look up some of his music on YouTube as well. He's one that we had to look up, and we recognized a couple of his songs, and he's the last one here that they have, unless there's somehow more covered up or something, or that have been removed that we don't know about. But they're doing all of this remodeling here, and so these things are going to stay here, and they're going to place them back in different spots or the same spots. I'm not sure when they're done with the remodeling. This is right up front here. I think it's a little bit more modern. It says something 2001, so I'm not sure. And there's this Easter bunny guarding these right up front. So we just went in the store and talked to the ladies that are working in there, and they said in addition to all of these that are here, that there were also 2 others that are now gone. After Peaches closed, which they think was about in 1982, there was one that Journey had and one that Van Halen had done here. And after Peaches closed, they were both taken. So those are no longer here, but the rest remain. They also said that 38 Special is in town tonight. So it would be pretty cool if they could come back and redo theirs, or at least do a new one beside it. But the original owner of this building is still the current owner, and he's had some big time offers for these, but none of them are for sale. And I don't blame him. It's neat that he's keeping these here and he's preserving them. They said that they get a lot of calls from people that are worried about these disappearing, and so he's just tried to reassure them that these are here to stay forever, or at least as long as he owns the building. But it's pretty neat to see these here about 40 years later after they were created, and many of these artists are probably no longer relevant or big, but many of these have lived on forever. And many of them are ones that I recognize, and you probably do too. Like I said, if there are any of them that you do recognize and you know what the music is, leave a comment below. Thanks guys, we'll see you next time.